Hey everyone, welcome back to KASH Talk. This is episode 4. Once again, this is Kiana.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Ham Van Dam back at it again on the Cash Talk with Cash.
I feel like I need a more pizzazz in my intro. But if you know me, you know that ain't me. So
Practice.
I ain't even gonna front. So this week we're gonna start off with our affirmation.
Episode 4.
And the affirmation for episode 4 is I choose healthy relationships based on mutual love and support.
Mutual love and support. So we talking about support this episode.
Yes, we'll be talking about social support, community support, and just the whole idea that it takes a village. So as you know, our family said that growing up, like it takes a village to raise a child, da 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 da. So just opening up on that concept alone.
I'll be wondering who be in that village though.
I mean, don't get me started in the history of this whole thing because it is a thing. But to start off, let's just talk about what is social support. So generally speaking, social support just means having healthy relationships with people. So that could be friends, family, coworkers, whoever, where you both can turn to each other in times of need, critical thinking, support, knowledge, growth, like any feedback. So just somebody that you can get a genuine response from when you're either going through something or you need extra, like that extra push. So like it could be a weight loss goal. It could be going back to school. That's a big one. Like, if I didn't have a social support in school, I don't know if I'd be here today.
Agreed.
So like just those type of things work. If you're in a toxic work environment, you don't think you're getting that support from your coworkers or your team. Like that's when you come home drained all the time. Like you're not really in it anymore. So that's what social support is. And why do we need it? Why is it even important? Like I said, school alone, like that was a big thing for me. So social support can enhance that overall quality of life that you're trying to build. So like getting that, that dialogue going, trying to get those thoughts out. Like some people think the best when they're talking to somebody. So making sure you're talking to somebody that would give you the right feedback and the correct feedback, not just going like, oh yeah, girl, you could do that, knowing that I can't fucking do it. So like those people that are honest with you, but aren't disrespectful to you. Somebody that encourages you and contributes to that positive self-image that you're trying to build.
Oh, I agree. So would you say that me being your co-host is kind of like some social support?
Yeah, we could even talk about that. So Shane actually aka Ham Van Dam. Shane actually wanted me to do this podcast almost for like 2 years now. And he wanted me to do it alone or like with a friend or something like that. And a lot of my friends are like me where it's like, like I like to be low key behind the scenes, but I like to be hands on with everything. So it's like, I like to be involved, but I don't want people to know I'm involved. And it just turned into like my friends like, that's not really for me and I'm not going to push anybody. So it just didn't happen. And once Shane was like, you know what? I'll be your co-host. I could tell you're not going to do this by yourself.
Yep.
And you need somebody to just be there for you. Even if it's just him if he's just saying yep and hype manning me up, that helps me. So that's how we even got here today. Just Shane taking that initiative in our relationship and being there for me and supporting me in something that he knows that I would be good at, even if I don't believe in it myself.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would say that social support, it's so important when you're dealing with creators and just dealing with creativity in general, because when you decide to be a creator, and it's like the very niche word right now, like I'm a creator, I'm a content creator, this, that, and the third, but you have to kind of get past some of these barriers, really, like to kind of even get to the point where you're comfortable calling yourself a creator or calling yourself a creative.
Yeah, I still don't do that.
Which is tough.
I'm like, this is a hobby. I do it for fun.
Mm-hmm. And I would say that you have to have that level of support. I just briefly to touch on what you said earlier, like you said that sometimes that it's harder for people to feel like pushed and stuff. Like they want to be comfortable. But I think that a part of being someone who's like supporting you, whether it's socially, emotionally, is kind of giving you that push. Or I would say even better, kind of knowing when to give you that push, because I feel as though me giving you the push to do this podcast about 2 years ago compared to 3 months ago is two totally different kind of like pushes. Like you kind of have to learn that as somebody who's supporting somebody. And that comes with, like I said, that comes with, really figuring out that person, especially the people who you choose to support. And that's why you have to be like really careful with who you choose to support either, because
yeah, there's a lot. Even like I'm figuring that out now, because like a lot of you may know I got into reading again. So I'm like, oh, like I want to read all these books, and then I look up the authors, and I'm like, oh, I can't support this. Like you got to make sure that the person you're supporting also aligns with your values in some way, and it's also understanding that there's different ways to support people. So you don't always have to dish out money. So like if your friend has a clothing brand and you just cannot afford it. Like we have a friend who has a clothing brand and is kind of pricey and I can't afford it, but I would love to have it. But because I, at this point, cannot afford it, what do? I share it. I share all the time. I hype them up. I'm like, yo, this is dope. Like, I'm proud of you. This is what you're really doing. Stuff, even words of encouragement, that is social support. Like, so it could be mental, it could be physical, it could be emotional, spiritual, financial, anything really. Just letting somebody know that, hey, I see what you're doing good. Or you're doing bad. They can tell you that too.
It's appreciative. I feel like only your best friends is going to tell you when you're doing something that's terrible. I don't believe that people have that level of honesty as of yet. But I mean, that kind of, we can kind of delve into a little bit of that topic as a nice segue. Like, what does support look like when it's not necessarily appeasing to the person who you're supporting, if that makes sense? What does support look like to you when it's not necessarily appeasing to the person you're supporting? So, for example, I'll give a perfect example. So when your mom had to basically tell you to do your homework for the most part. Now, you don't want to do your homework, or maybe you do, but it's taking up your time. But your parents know, like, I have to support you with doing your homework. I have to encourage you, kind of nurture you into doing certain things so that you can make these decisions for themselves. Make these decisions for yourself. So when you're dealing with the person who's being supported, and I don't like the fact that we're using this very cliche version, but like when you're dealing with somebody who who is being supported, or is the child in the village analogy, you run into a lot of barriers. I mean, we run into barriers all the time where it may not necessarily look like support, but it is.
I think I understand what you're trying to say. And that would go back to the affirmation. You are choosing healthy relationships based on mutual love and support. So let's go to the homework thing. So let's say, I'm going to use a real example. I don't like math. My mom is fairly good at math. So when she's just like, do your math homework, that's not supporting me because, I'm not good at math. I have no motivation to do math. So you just telling me to do math is not supporting me. So the way that I see it is, if you're in some type of relationship with someone, whether that be romantic, family, whatever, it's learning how to support that person in a way that would be beneficial to them, not beneficial to you. Because they have to learn. It's like learning their style, their like love language. Yes.
Their isms.
So it's like, okay, my mom knows I don't like math. So her way of supporting me is, hey, come, let's sit down and I'm going to do math homework with you. Or I'm going to sit here while you do your math homework and walk you through it. She's not going to sit there and yell like, Timmy had 5 apples. How many fucking apples did he? Like, that's not going to help. So after that trial and error, she realized that, and she shifted to a support system that worked for me.
which ultimately helped
I
your
mean, I
learning
still don't like
experience.
math, but and I'm still not really good at it, but she gave me the tools. It's just that my brain it just don't work. Not all the time is going to work. But that's because just math is just not my thing, but I always had the support. So when I went to high school, they knew, my mom made sure to say, like, this girl, her math, like, I don't know, like, you gotta have to figure it out. So I got tutors. I was in a different math than some of my friends. People call it stupid math. It is what it is. Not everybody's good at it. But that's the support I needed. I was in a class with my friends who also weren't that great with math. So when we worked together to do it, I was able to understand material way more better than you just throwing me in trigonometry because I'm in 11th grade and I need a trig credit. Like, it don't work.
You definitely beat me to the point I was about to say. Like, sometimes we operate on a one size doesn't fit all kind of mantra over here at the KASH Talk Podcast. So if you're looking to support somebody, it's not necessarily like, hey, we're not going to give you the template per se. It's more so geared towards everybody's specific, mannerisms and, specific ways that they react to certain things. Not to sidetrack, but I kind of wanted to speak a little bit about how, people kind of define support, because as a creative, I'm going to use that word a lot because that's what I am. We struggle with that. We struggle with defining what support really looks like, because I can tell you from somebody who has done hundreds of shows, released hundreds of songs, when y'all don't share my shit, I be tight.
But then you have to also understand the platforms that you're posting your stuff on.
Indeed.
9 times out of 10, I'm your girlfriend and I don't see half the shit you post.
Indeed.
It's like one of those weird situations where it's like, maybe they do want to support you, they just don't see it.
Precisely. The algorithms do be rhythming, and I don't like that Facebook or Instagram does that. But I'm just speaking from a place from when I was younger versus to where I am now in terms of how I deem it. Because when I was younger, around 21, 22, I thought that you literally are obligated to support your friends. Like, if we are friends, I support you, you support me. Now, so that comes in different ways.
I'm like, you want me to go back to the affirmation or not? I'm scrolling up.
I'm just saying, this is 22-year-old me. Now, he probably would have needed to hear that affirmation a million times, because the way I was in the crib, just tight, that I'm putting this music out that I deem that's worthy of you taking 2.5 to 3 minutes to listen to, and you're not listening to it. And I can't even get like an honest opinion out of you. That felt like, that's a little, I wouldn't even say disrespectful. I just feel like you are part of my village, then I expect you to support me in that way. What I've learned as I've grown up and kind of been able to navigate the creative space is that, one, people just don't have fucking time. Like, they just don't. And when they do have time, they're not thinking about you.
Yeah,
and
that's not like, yo, I got 5 minutes today. Let me listen to Ham.
Yeah,
album.
You get what I'm saying? That's just the reality of the situation. You can feel a way about that, or you can't. But I will say that veers me into kind of this deciding that I need to formulate my own community, my own village. Like you said, going back to the affirmation, like, it has to be built on mutual love and respect.
Yep.
It has to be built on mutual love and respect. And I feel as though when you decide that you want to build your own village and build your own community, because that's my branding identity word is collaborative community. But when you decide that you want to build your own community, you start getting different results, and you start getting different type of support, and that makes you feel better. Honestly, it makes you feel like, wow, like, I'm an artist. I want people to listen to my music. All right, maybe I need to find my community of people who listen to music like me. So if I listen,
your type of music.
Yeah. So that these are the people who I need to be communicating with. Like, these are the people that I need to be giving the majority of my time to, because these are the people in the community that are most like me.
Yeah. And that kind of plays into, as you all may or may not know, I'm not sure if I even said it, I did go towards getting my health and wellness coaching certificate.
Woo.
So I did study some of this for some time, and it's the psychology of it. When you were 21, you felt like what you were doing wasn't enough because you wasn't getting that recognition. You were feeling more down on yourself. You put less effort into things because you thought nobody cared about it. But once you started getting that like love and support, the whole thing changed. Yourself, you kind of saw yourself in like a different light and a different image. And it's mainly because it kind of like enhanced your positive self-image of yourself. Because you're like, okay, I'm putting something out there and the reflection I'm getting back isn't what I thought. So now I feel like I did something wrong, which 9 times out of 10 is not true.
It's not.
And then when you put something else out there, maybe years later, maybe months later, you see that you're getting different type of engagement and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, like this shit looking a little good. Like, let me do more of it. Let me create more of it. And that's how I basically saw you grow, where it was like you went from, yeah, you made some songs in the studio and I'm just sitting there listening. But 9 times out of 10, you didn't release these songs. But then like, as you like, finally released Mac music and you got the love and support that you deserved and that you really wanted. And then guess what you did? You made t-shirts for the mixtape. And then you got the love and support from that. And then what did you do? You actually took the time to create your business. You took the time to focus on your business. You applied to grad school. And it's all like, you may not be aware of it, but it's all the psychology of the fact that people are now giving you what you already wanted. Like the response that you anticipated, you got. So now you're moving better from it. And it's like, you're not always aware of it, but that's kind of how social support works. Like you think you don't need nobody, but you do. Like
I was just about to say that. I was literally just about to say that. I was like, there's some people that think that they don't need this level
they're
of
like,
support.
oh, I could do it on my own. Da 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 da.
And as you know, and you've heard me tell many of people who I get on my soapbox for, is that, and I'm very glad that you kind of went through that, is that is kind of like a microism that I just decided that I could not do this alone, like at all.
You don't know everything.
Yeah,
you can't give yourself non-critical feedback.
Yeah, it's a different level of humility. When you recognize that you can't do it alone and that you actually need the support from your community, especially when you're trying to do something like that's as DK scary as entrepreneurship or trying to be
risky.
You get, that things that come with a lot of risks, that mitigate a lot of risks. Like you have to have that level of support. Like that's extremely important. When I went to grad school, I had all my aunts call me.
They prayed for him. I was sitting there like, what the hell going on?
Exactly.
Because like my family version of support is totally different than that. So when I see like you basically had a network of people, like, yeah, they belong to the church. Yeah, they're your family, but they used all those tools to come together and like kind of encourage you in a way to be like, yeah, this sounds like it's hard. Yeah, you don't think you could do it, but we got you.
Yeah, and I feel like that reaffirmation, honestly, is kind of what helping me kind of push through, as well as, affirmations from you, affirmations from my mom and my sister as well. Because I'm gonna let y'all know, grad school is hard as hell. Shit is hard as hell.
He was there when I was in grad school, and he was taking me to urgent care because I was having panic attacks.
It's hard as hell. So you need that level of support, and that's not something that I think that I don't want to sound drastic, but it is like life or death. Like if you really sit down and think about it, because
we both worked in social services. We know,
and we see what the lack of social support looks like. Like when it on an extreme left and right level, what the lack of social support looks like. And I mean, I'm kind of grateful for working in social services for that specific point, because I don't want to say it's scared straight me, but it was like, okay, cool. It was like, okay, cool. We need, no, it's fine. No, but it's like, okay, we need to be much, much better in terms of how we support, like not only me supporting my community, but also we have to continue to support other communities as well.
Yep. So like, yes, supporting the Black community, because we're Black, but also like the LGBTQIA community, and like understanding that social support also isn't there for everybody. This is not, as we said, we worked in social services, so we know this isn't something that works for everybody. That's something that's plausible for everybody, because at the end of the day, the people that were your support systems probably are the ones that inflicted the trauma that you're facing today. So we know that there are resources for a lot of people out there that can't turn to friends and family or coworkers, or aren't in a situation where they have any of this. So if you know of any resources, or if you need any resources, please email me. My email is k.ashley, ASHLISFE@gmail.com. Again, it's k.ASHLISFE@gmail.com. We're also put that in the description. So if you need anything, really, because we are talking very general, and I know like some people probably like, bitch, this don't work for me. Like, my family sucks, my friends suck, or you don't have any friends. And like when people say they don't have friends, like when I say that, I really have friends. But there's people that really don't have friends because there's a lot going on in their lives, and we understand that. And I don't want it to seem like I'm trying to make this sound like something that's easy peasy. It is not. It is very difficult. We are speaking about it in a very conversational manner, but this is a very serious topic that we want to make sure that we link people with the right resources if they don't have it. There are a lot of Black creatives that are creating spaces for people of color and people of different, groups, like trans women, trans men. Like, they need that support. And as a community, we aren't always giving that support. And it's very great if we can steer them in the right direction. I support all. So you could always talk to me, hit me up in my DMs. Like, you can send me a text. I'm not going to give out my phone number on the podcast, but I want to make sure that everybody at least feels comfortable. And there's a difference between supporting you if you're doing something wrong and just giving you a space to speak in. I can give you that type of support just to vent your emotions out. So if you feel comfortable, once again, you could email me and we'll put the email in the show notes.
Yep. And that's Health and Wellness Coach Cash for you.
Yes. I don't know if I even said that already, but I have the credentials.
Yes. Yeah, I love the fact that you said that, because that kind of just goes back into the fact that Black people and people in general are just not a monolith. It's not one size fit all. It's not, these are the directions we have to give you for you to live a happy life. That's just not real. That's not reality. But when you build this community, it kind of helps you, and builds this village. It kind of helps you kind of put yourself in a predicament where you are at the very, very least comfortable with speaking about, what you need support in. And I mean, we talk like that, but it's not a common thing at all. Like, to have a space in which you can speak. Like,
and to be honest, I kind of got to backtrack a little bit, because I did say I support all. But then when you said that, it made me think, like, there are a lot of groups that I do not support. Absolutely. So I don't support all people. Let me say that.
No,
I don't support white supremacy. I was like, wait a minute. You said that, and I was like, they don't need a space at all.
I have a great point to that point. So I once, when I was working in my class, my teacher said, he asked me what were my brand identity words, and I've always wanted to be considered as an inclusive person, because I just love everybody.
Yeah, like, we don't got no beef.
It's literally my issue with discernment is that I will literally love you first and then allow you to fuck up and allow me to hate you later. But when you're dealing with this, it's like, you have to be very, very careful, because you want to say inclusive. Man, inclusive means everybody. I'm not even gonna lie.
And them QAnon niggas is gonna be in the comments like, hey,
exactly.
Girl. And I'm like, I don't want to be. No.
I've come to terms. I'm not inclusive. I'm not thoroughly inclusive. I don't like.
I'm
white
welcoming to those.
I don't like white supremacists. I don't like niggas that be.
I don't like transphobic people. Yeah, I don't like Islamophobic people. I don't like fat phobic people. So, I could give you a list of the people I don't like, but if you don't fall in them categories, hit my inbox.
I like decent human beings.
Yes. Be a good person.
I think
you could be trash, but at least a good person. You know what I mean?
And don't be coming at me, people, because I listen to Future. But I'm just saying,
he's trash. Like, see.
But I'm saying,
but you don't like listen to R. Kelly, so like you see the difference.
I don't. I retired R. Kelly from my rotation.
Future fake got some bops, so like. I don't listen to his new stuff, but I was heavy on his old albums.
Yeah, it sure was. But yeah, like I said, we don't want to be, I guess, extremely inclusive, but you want when you're dealing with your community, you want to be able to have people that are going to fit into what you want to do.
Your morals and your values.
Yeah, which is interesting because not even to like veer off, but I compare it a little bit to like your Animal Crossing game. It's like,
oh God,
you
don't
sitting here
like that.
Yeah, but I'm serious. Like you literally, when you look at that, or like Sims, or
something I also play.
Anything that's like a role playing kind of like build your community game. I think that they're based in that premise. Like if I had the opportunity to choose who could live in my neighborhood,
facts, because I made them all black. I'll be making mad Sims. They be all black.
If I had the chance to pick who was going to be in my neighborhood, there would be probably 80 to 90 versions of myself. I'm not even going to lie to you, or some type of variation of myself, because these are the type of people that I want.
Yep. That's why you find that mutual love and support. And that's what I mean by the people that can contact me. I have to keep saying it.
Those people.
Yeah, because I thought about it and I was just like, oh, I don't respect all people.
You don't?
Because I just said how Twitter be getting me tight.
It's a tough life. It's really a tough life when you recognize you don't really respect all people.
Yeah, because you think you're being helpful by saying, I support all, like,
it's
love
giving,
all
It's giving
people.
all lives matter.
That's what I was just about to say. It's giving all lives matter. And I don't want to, that's why I backtracked. I was like, whoa. Wait a minute. Because y'all would drag me. Because I know my friends that would listen would be like, bitch, like.
Giving all lives matter energy.
Blue lives type shit. Like, that's a no. Because if I see that shit on your delete, like block. I made a whole new Facebook because people from college was like doing the most during, everything that was going on in 2020. So I'm like, oh, anti-mask delete, like anti-vax delete. And there's some people that you can have those conversations with and there's respect in it. But when you start throwing like,
Nah.
Yeah. you know what I don't even got to go into detail. Exactly. You know what I'm saying.
Exactly. I call them the nah-nah-nahs.
Yeah. That don't sit right with my spirit. Like, what does that got, what COVID got to do with your spirit?
Support your community. Support your community.
Yeah, let me not.
I mean, oh no, I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot we don't want to say, but
we're not on a podcast, and we cannot say things that are toxic.
Yeah, but we're gonna leave it at that.
Yep.
Once again, you can follow me at Noel Souls Heal on Instagram.
Yep.
And _KASH Talk _ on Twitter, and then my website noelsoulsheal.com.
Well, boom. You can follow us everywhere at Smooth Family ENT. Smooth. Not smooth. I know it's we spelled it that way.
Oh, with
smooth,
the V?
Smooth Family.
Like the dictionary.
Yeah, Smooth Family ENT. SmoothFamilyENT.com. You can follow me everywhere at Frostmon Guru, but follow Smooth Family ENT first. All right, before we go, give us that affirmation one more time. I need to hear it, please. She's unprepared.
I choose healthy relationships based on mutual love and support. Heavy on the mutual, because I'm still going to be in my bag about me saying I support all people, because I don't.
Heavy
but anyway, that's my last spiel. I don't support all.
So thank you guys for tuning into episode 4. And we will see you next week for episode 5. That's how you count.
I'm still going to do that.